What is up, guys? How are you doing? My name is Max. In this video, I'm going to be ranking the best SMMA outreach channels. So yeah, let's hop into this. So I'm going to make it full screen here. So obviously, it's pretty subjective. So what we're actually going to be basing this on is how likely your target market is actually on here. Obviously, if you're, let's say, targeting the home improvement niche, you're probably not going to be using, let's say, Reddit to target them. Maybe you will, who knows? So we're going to be basing on how likely your target market how likely it actually is for your target market to be on this platform, and also the learning curve required for each platform. So we've got 5 tiers here. We've got good, God, average, bad, and shit. So we're actually going to begin with Instagram. So with Instagram, the learning curve obviously is very low, but in terms of what you actually need to make it work, you need to be posting actively. You ideally need to have a following above 1,000 to make people perceive you as some sort of leader. Stories, posts, highlights, story highlights on your profile as well. You've got to be making use of DMs as well. So the learning curve to actually learn the premise of it, not just learn how to send messages, but to actually learn how to create content on there, etc. I think based on how likely your target market can be reached, and then the learning curve, honestly, I'd say it's bad. If we're taking in every single niche into account, I might have to go out full screen here, but yeah, I'm gonna go with bad for Instagram. My personal experience as well, you need to be quite active on there. So the next one is Facebook. How likely your target market can be reached on here is extremely likely, so that's pretty good. The learning curve, again, it's similar to Instagram. You need to have some sort of profile to your page. Ideally a bit of content, but it's not nearly as much as Instagram. You can literally just have a solid bio, a solid profile picture, a link to your website, and just position yourself as some sort of authority, and you can get meetings. So for Facebook, I'm actually going to go with God, because like I said, everyone's on there. If they don't use that account for business, they're going to have an account. Like, let's say like a 7-figure SaaS owner, he might not have a Facebook account for that he uses actively for outreach and stuff like that, but everyone will have a personal Facebook account basically. The next one is letters. So letters, your target market can be reached on there if they have a physical location, like a business location that you can actually reach them at. The learning curve is pretty low as well. It's just write a letter. Basically, it'd just be structured like an email, have your offer in there. Obviously, a lot of personalization. You've already sent them the letter, so that's already enough, to be honest. But in terms of the time required as well to do this, the thing is with this is no one's doing it. So if you send someone a letter, can you imagine if you received a letter tomorrow with a sales pitch asking you to hop on a demo call for 20 minutes of your time? You're naturally going to feel obliged to reciprocate the effort that they've put into sending you a letter. So I think this is slept on. We've not done this yet. I actually do want to try this just for a few, and see if we can get some results here. So I'm actually going to go with average here, because obviously it takes a lot of time. There's ways to do more volume a lot quicker than letters, but yeah, I think it is criminally underrated. SMS. So the thing with SMS, like I said, it's extremely likely that your target market can be reached. Everyone has a phone. Everyone has a phone number. The learning curve behind it, I think it literally just involves, I've not actually used it before. I think it just involves literally setting up an account in Go High Level, setting up some flows. The thing with this is, depending on which country you're in, there's a lot of different laws around the regulations, whether you're not allowed to use text-based marketing unless you've received their number on like a sign-up form, or you've got permission to do so. So yeah, it can be quite risky, but obviously your target market is extremely likely to be on there. They'll all be on there. The learning curve is pretty low. I'm actually going to go with good, assuming that you can bypass the regulations and you can get away with it. I wouldn't recommend using it unless you're certain that it's actually legal where you are and you're doing it correctly. But yeah, I'd say good. Cold calling. This is a good one, because obviously everyone who you need to contact is on there. Some like local businesses, for example, are going to be more easily reached by phone because they're out in the field. Like, for example, if there's a roofer, he's more likely to respond to a cold call than an email, just because of what his field of work is actually like and what he's doing on a day-to-day basis. The learning curve, though, it can be quite hard to actually get good at cold calling, get the verbal dexterity going, etc. But I'm actually going to go with average for cold calling. You know what, actually, we're going to go on good, because it doesn't take that long to actually get good at it, and anyone you want is literally just a Skype call away from this, depending on what target market they're in. Like I said, some people are more likely to respond, but yeah, that's just how it goes. Reddit. So I can't really say I'm too familiar with using Reddit as an acquisition channel. I'd say that certain niches are definitely going to be more easily reached with Reddit. Like, for example, I don't think you're going to reach any contractors using Reddit. I don't think you're really going to be reaching anyone in like the B2C niche. But for example, let's say you're an e-com agency. Excuse me. Let's say you're an e-com agency and you come across a subreddit called r/ecom or something like that, r/ecom. You're gonna find hundreds of people that are either interested in running an e-com store or run established e-com stores. You're gonna find threads that have people in there talking about e-com, talking about their problems, and that's every time someone mentions that problem, that's an angle on how you could potentially be the solution to that problem, how you can position your service as the vehicle for them to escape that pain. So based on these two things that we've got here, how likely the target market can be reached and the learning curve, I think the learning curve is pretty easy. I think the amount of, just throwing in something else here, I think the amount of information that people confess on Reddit about their true pains, their true desires, what they're struggling with in marketing, what you can solve with your service, etc., I think is insanely valuable. So with Reddit, I'm actually going to go, I'm somewhere in between average and bad. Because, you know what, for Reddit, just because I don't think too many people would be on there, I think it's really niche specific, we're going to go bad. But like I said, this depends entirely on what niche you're in. Email. So as a big advocate for this, how likely your target market can be reached on this is infinite. Everyone uses email like everyone uses a phone number. The learning curve behind it, obviously, once you get past learning how to set up the domains, setting up the email accounts, building lead lists, etc., there is quite a steep learning curve behind it. If you are willing to put the time into learning how to do it, though, it should not take long at all for you to actually learn the technical setup of it and how to write copy. But you have to do that with any of these, to be honest. But yeah, build lead list, clean lead list, technical setup like DMARC, DKIM, SPF, etc. There's a fair bit of a learning curve behind it, but like I said, anyone can be reached on email. So for email, also with email, it's probably the most scalable out of any of these methods. With email, you can literally just buy more domains, set up more email accounts, and just double the volume almost instantly. Whereas with something like cold calling, it obviously takes a lot more, it takes people, it takes a lot more energy. We don't have the AI yet to cold call on demand. It takes a lot more energy to scale up. But with email, it's a lot easier with email to, let's say if you're getting a 1% positive reply rate, and you let's say you're sending 100 emails a day, you're getting a 1% appointment booking rate. It would be a lot easier to send 200 emails a day and book 2 appointments per day instead of 1 than try and get that appointment booking rate up to 2% and just keep the volume the same. So being how scalable it is, and honestly basically anyone can be reached, I'm going to have to put it in God tier. If you can get past the learning curve, which can be frustrating at first, but honestly it's not hard once you know how to do it. LinkedIn, this is a fun one because like Facebook and Instagram, you have to have an optimized profile. Obviously, it's more important to have an optimized profile on LinkedIn than it is on Facebook and Instagram. You have to have an optimized profile. Obviously, the more connections you have, the more perceived authority you have as well. The learning curve behind it is quite slim as well. You've literally just got connections to worry about. Obviously, you can go into Sales Navigator, but unless you're looking to book like I say 3, 4, 5 appointments per day, you probably don't need Sales Navigator. You can just get away with doing it manually. The learning curve behind it is low. A lot of people are on here. Local businesses, not so much, but B2B niches, yes. With LinkedIn, I'm going to go good. The next one is Twitter. Again, it's entirely like all of these ones on here, basically the ones that not everyone uses. It depends entirely on what your target market is. So just to give the example again, let's say you're targeting plumbers. Are they going to be on Twitter? Probably not. Are they going to be using it for fun? Probably not. So how easy is it to learn? I mean, you need to get out content like the other social platforms we've talked about. You need to have an optimized profile. You need to be positioned in such a way where people look at your profile and know what, and can see that you know what you're talking about. So how likely is it your target market can be reached? Unless you're B2B, probably not too likely. The learning curve, you have to post content, you have to optimize your profile. Twitter, I'm going to go average. I think that's a little bit unfair to Instagram, but oh well. The next one we've got here, which isn't really an outbound acquisition channel as much as the other ones are, and it's a little bit different, is networking. So, for example, this is like going to entrepreneurial events, going to business events, networking with people. Like, just to give the example for the 8th time in this video, let's say I have a roofing marketing agency. It could be like going to, let's say, a roofing event where all like the top roofers in your town go to this event, all the top tradesmen or whatever, and you basically just build rapport with people, talk to them about what you do. Don't jump in straight away with a sales pitch and your offer and what you do, and just get talking. And basically just warm up appointments. It's not as cold as the other ones, obviously, because you're just slowly building that rapport with people. You're slowly building it up. You're not just jumping straight in with a sales pitch. But I've never tried this. I've never done this, so take my answer with a pinch of salt. But I'd say depending on how likely, like going back to the principles, depending on how likely your target market can be reached by this. The newer type services, are they going to be networking as much? Probably. Is it going to be easy for you to attend these? Maybe. Is it going to take some money? Probably. Is there a learning curve behind it? I mean, it's a lot different to the other ones because it's actually face-to-face communication rather than behind a screen. I'm gonna say average. Let's just go ahead and put that in average. All right, cool. So yeah, that's everything in this video. Obviously, this is all my opinion. It depends entirely on what your target market is, the learning curve behind it, how good your offer is, how many people you're actually reaching per day, how scalable each of these acquisition channels are. So yeah, just take this with a pinch of salt, and yeah, that's everything. So thank you guys. My name's Max, just to let you know, and I've actually recently partnered with my business partner, Isaiah, the founder of Sales Lead, and we're helping established marketing agencies add $1 million a year in 6 to 12 months on a complete pay on results basis. So if you are interested in that, the link will be in the description below where you can book a call with myself, and we can just go over, no strings attached, whether or not we're fit for you. We won't pitch you on the first call. We don't do that. We just diagnose your problem, see if there's a solution, and yeah, help you, see if we can help you out in any way, shape or form. Obviously no pressure. It's literally entirely up to you. We're only taking on 2 marketing agencies per month, so depending on when you're watching this, we may already be at capacity, but yeah, no strings attached is there if you want to check it out. And yeah, I appreciate your guys' time for watching this. Thanks a lot, and yeah, see you later.